The Coaching Hour with
Tumelo Tolakai
on Zoe Live Radio. www.zoeliveradio.co.za.
Good evening. It's Tuesday night. I'm your host, Khensani Chauke. Welcome to the Coaching Hour. Every Tuesday, we come together and learn from our different coaches. We have different guests each and every Tuesday. And this week, we have a very, very interesting topic, And we've been waiting for this guest, I think, for over a year now. We've been postponing. No, I'm not in South Africa. I'll talk to you when I come back. When he's in South Africa, Khensani is not available. So tonight, let's welcome Coach King Madua. Hi, Coach King.
Hi, Khensani ndanda vari mini fetsi
Hawa ipfukile minjani?
Ipfukile ndiki for spelling purposes uri vathu vakona kupfa ndi King Coach Mauda.
So, yes, I'm sorry.
King Coach Mauda here. I'm happy to be on your program finally. Like you said, we spent all these years trying to find time, but then our schedule was not coordinating. Finally, today it is coordinated. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Coach, for coming through and making time for us tonight. And I know that you are not in South Africa. You are somewhere in the Middle East. And how are you and how is the weather that side?
Oh, the weather this side, we're almost like in the August of South Africa. So we are in the windy side, but remember this side is hot. If you think Guyana or Venda in Limpopo is hot, you must come this side. It's seriously hot. So the weather is very hot. So we can't do anything during the day. We have to stay indoors, and only in the evenings, then we have to go to the malls. Those that play soccer can also play soccer if it's an outdoor sport. So that's basically how the weather is like, but it's very, very hot.
It sounds interesting because in South Africa already we're getting cold. It's so cold. Like I'm already on my polo necks. I'm wearing boots.
No, I'm just sitting in here. I'm wearing all the light clothes. And by the way, remember, Khensani, today is Friday again.
Yes.
So we don't work on Fridays. Work here starts on Sunday.
Oh, okay.
So we start working on Sunday. So our first day of the week is Sunday, then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then Friday and Saturday is our weekend, because on Friday, remember it's a Muslim country. So on Friday, they go to the mosque.
Oh, okay. And Saturday is just the normal Saturday.
Saturday is just a normal break day. It's like a Sunday, if you want to call it. It's the last day of the weekend. But come Sunday, we all pack, kids go to school, adults go to work like any other Monday.
Wow. What an adjustment.
Yeah, it's a total. And also we got the time because I'm in Saudi Arabia now. So Saudi Arabia is 1 hour ahead of South Africa.
Oh, okay.
And when I look at my time now, it is to 2.
Oh.
So you need to also do that. You need to do that adjustment. Next week I'll be in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. That's 2 hours. So they are 2 hours ahead of us. Yes, yeah.
Not bad when it comes to adjusting.
No, not that much. And I mean, it's once you get used to it, and luckily today, because of fourth industrial revolution, the computers, the phones that we use through the times, they automatically adjust the time for us.
Yeah, it's easy to adapt. Yeah, I can see that.
That's it, yes. Yeah.
Yes, I'm glad to have you on studio tonight. And we are speaking about what is the fourth industrial revolution and why does it matter. So guys, before we start with our show, go invite your friends, your family members, share the feed, grab a cup of coffee because it's cold, and have a pen and a paper. Let's hear all about what the fourth industrial revolution is. I know we have the third one, we have second one, but today we're focusing on the fourth one. And Coach King, he's going to help us understand what is 4IR, because I remember when we first met, and then we had a chat, me and him, and then he spoke about 4IR, and I was like, what is 4IR?
It's like you say, you're not going to have the fourth eye. Eh?
And I was a bit surprised because of how he said it, and then it came and said fourth industrial revolution, and I was like, oh yeah, now to be honest, we are feeling it, that it's here, but Coach King is going to tell us all about it. And Coach, kindly introduce yourself. Who is Coach King?
Yes, thanks, Khensani. My name is Ndiwo David Mauda, and I go by the stage name of King Coach and Coach King. So some say King Coach, some say Coach King. And the idea behind that is mainly because I do a lot of coaching. I coach people on IT, I coach executives, I coach on golf, I coach on life. So I do general type of coaching cross board. So I'm very happy to be associated with Fourth Industrial Revolution, because that it's going to revolutionize our world and our life. And you would have seen it already in the last 2 years or so. Our life is completely revolutionized. So I'm very happy to be here with you today, Khensani.
Most definitely, because I've been working from home since 2020, June until today. And why is that, Coach? Why am I here?
Basically, what is happening when we talk now about Fourth Industrial Revolution? What is it going to change, or what does it impact, right? I've got a simple model.
Before we start start talking about the change, what is it? To those who don't understand what 4IR is.
Yes. Let's start. 4IR, or the Fourth Industrial Revolution, is the change that has happened to our life for the fourth time. So that's why I say Fourth Industrial Revolution. So it's the change that is happening for the fourth time, which means if it's for the fourth time, that means there was the third time. And then there was the second, and there was the first.
Yes.
Right. Now, the Fourth Industrial Revolution is technology driving our daily activities. And what technology is that? Computer. Computer technology is the Fourth Industrial Revolution. It is changing the way our lives work. Before that, yes, we had the third, which was more automation, electronics. Before that one, we had industrialization. Before that, we had power generation. But I don't want to talk about those. I want to talk about the fourth. So the fourth is the usage of technology, specifically computer technology, in our daily lives. And that's what Fourth Industrial Revolution is about.
Yeah, I hear you. So how will it affect us? How is it affecting us?
Fourth Industrial Revolution, ignore it at your own peril, Khensani. It's like I'm here in the Middle East. I cannot say I can ignore the heat, because it's part of us. So Fourth Industrial Revolution is going to impact us. Therefore, we need to be ready. It's going to impact us at home, at work, in the workplace, and also in the community, including religion and sports and all the other areas. Therefore, it's going to impact our life heavily. Not a little bit, heavy. So we need to be ready for that.
Yeah, and it did when it comes to religion. I remember there was some time, I think in 2020 and 2021, we were all worshiping online. And we couldn't go to church, and we had to make it work. And it did work for some, and for some it didn't work. However, but we know that that is our reality. We know even churches now, they made it permanent. They have in-house service, and they also have it online. So that
our complete life, our whole life, like I said, Fourth Industrial Revolution is the use of, I'm using the word computer very lightly, because computers have grown from big computers to small computers in the hand. So the cell phone that you have is a computer. So now all our life is now going into the hand. So our life is now becoming a hand, which means, like you say, sports, religion, arts, culture, work, community work, all these activities are going to be done through a computer, of which when you say computer, we also including a cell phone, and all that is going to be done through your hand. Now the hand is going to become very powerful. So we might have to start considering insuring our hands, because that becomes the next powerful activity.
So it's going to be difficult for you to operate your cell phone if your hand is no longer working. And you are correct. We're using our hand more than any other thing these days.
Yeah. Our hands are now, if you track from the time you wake up to the time you sleep, how many times you used your hands compared to what you did in the last 5, 7 years or 10 years, so that's why I say we need to consider insuring our hands. So the insurance guys can start getting to come up with a package on how to insure your hands.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And before we go deep into our topic tonight, Coach, what inspired you to become a coach?
Actually, it's very interesting because I studied mathematics. Right? So with my mathematical background, there was no drive to go into coaching, because when you're in mathematics, like my Professor Marala is, I would go into research and then all those type of good things in here. But I realized that there's a gap, Khensani. There's a big gap, especially in our Black community, in that we don't know certain things, and you can't know what you don't know. And that's when I went and I studied did a coaching course with a UCT, so that I can understand now, how do we improve? How do we change people? How do we impact people? So my idea of getting into coaching is to try and impact and influence other people around the community going forward. And that's why you see I'm King Coach, Coach King, I'm Dibuo, I'm David, and I'm Mauda. So depending on where I am, I get called all these different names, but anyone who calls me with any of the name, I know from which angle they're coming from, because the community that I deal with is very wide.
And you said you also do coaching golf. You also coach golf?
Golf, yes. Yeah.
And how is
and you know what is it's going very well. What is actually interesting is I've got my students back in South Africa. So when I'm traveling, we do virtual training.
Okay.
Right. So we do virtual training. We connect on the internet, and then we'll be able to see they play. So which in the past you could not be able to do that. So which means now it's much easier for anyone. As long as you make time, you can be able to achieve anything you want, because your coach is far away just from a computer or from a mobile. As long as your mobile is there, connect, and then do the connection with your coach there.
Most definitely. And what inspires you, Coach? And especially now that you're traveling, you're doing in and out of countries, what inspires you?
I'm self-driven, but also I am a very big fan of President Ramaphosa.
Oh, okay.
Right, so I followed him and I see things that he did, while he was with Shanduka, while he was with the trade union, all the type of business that he does, and the influence that he has on people. So he's one of my inspiration. And of course, like I said, also Professor Marala from the University of Johannesburg. He's also one big inspiration. So those are some of the people that inspires me. And of course, the big man Mandela as well. And then my parents influenced me quite a lot. And I get very moved when I see what they've done with what they had up to where I ended up being. I mean, in any other environment, I wouldn't have not been there. But what my parents did to get me into that level was very, very inspiring. So I'm using that same knowledge and content that I have to inspire others and then share with others around me as well.
Wonderful. That's awesome. And when we look into, we can just now go back to our topic. Some of the questions will come later on the show. So I want us to talk about how will the fourth industrial revolution affect businesses in South Africa?
It's going to affect business both good and bad, right? So in my model, I call it the birth and death of business, which means by bringing the fourth industrial revolution, certain things are going to be born. like working from home. It never happened in the past.
Yeah.
Right? So now the question is, when we work from home, what happens to business? Does business become happy or does it become happy? It depends on the situation. And then also there will be the death. When I started working, having an office was a very big thing. Going to the office was a big thing. Today, the office is dead, but people are still working. So the impact is massive. Therefore, we need to align and work with technology. The fact that the office is no longer as strong as it was does not mean is the end. We now need to embrace the technology and see what new things is it bringing us. Quick example. The business now no longer work in the offices, but now who write these softwares, these computer systems, who manufactures these mobiles, who write all these codes? That's where the birth comes up. There will be a death of old things, but there will be a birth of new things coming. So the impact is both positive, massively, but negative, small. As long as we educate our people and learn the new thing, and then we'll be able to take it forward. Otherwise, there's going to be huge potential coming forward.
Wow. And now that reminds me, now that, most companies were running their business from offices, and now that everybody's working from home, what is happening to that building? Is still the building useful, or is it empty? What's happening to the buildings?
That's where we need now to come up with something we call innovation. Right? Now, what do we do with that building? Right? The building will still be there, but we must change what we do in that particular building. Because if take shopping, for example, how many times do you go shopping? How many times do you go to the bank? But you still get access to your food, to your clothes. Now, who delivers those clothes and those foods? Who write the software? Who support? So those buildings, we need to change the model, change the way they are used, and then use it in a positive way. And that's basically where we need to come up with now. We need innovation. So we need people to come with innovation. Now, where will that innovation come from? Our youth. We need to train our youth, expose our youth in all these different methods. They'll come up with ideas on how to improve and to change what was into moving into a new environment.
Would you say that fourth industrial revolution, is it a good thing? Is it a good thing for us?
It's the best thing that has ever happened to man. Number one, what do we benefit before we could even go further? Time. I now have so much time. This interview, you would have had to wait for me to come back and have the interview. But now we can do it now. Right? And as soon as we finish doing it, everything gets recorded, you can be able to work with it. So time is one big benefit that we have. Therefore, we need now, if I now wear my life coaching hat, is we need to coach people what to do with time.
Yes.
Because fourth industrial revolution, one of the big things it gives us is time now. I mean, take an example. To go to work, you spend 3 hours going to work and coming back from work. But if you work from home, what do you do with that 3 hours? Now you got a lot of time. Now people need now to be coached on how best to use time, because now we've got so much time in our hand. So fourth industrial revolution is definitely the best thing that could have ever happened to man. What we need to do is, what do we do with the spare time that we have? We need to be life coached. We need to be business coached to say, how do we now use this time for better things?
Yeah. So now that this industrial revolution is a good thing, or it's the best thing, what could hold back the fourth industrial revolution in South Africa? What could hold back?
It's basically three things. Number one, laziness. Right? Because if you are lazy and you don't adopt the new way of doing things, things are not going to work. The second one is management and leadership weakness. If our leaders are weak, they don't introduce this technology, we'll never have access to it. We'll still be using the old, what we call brick and mortar. We are not in the brick and mortar stage now. We need to be moving into the technology. And then the last one is Opportunities. There are so many opportunities, and unfortunately, opportunity does not knock and say, "Hello, my name is opportunity. Please get used, use me." Right? Opportunity comes, you need to pick it up. Now, how do people know what is opportunity? Life coaching comes up. We need to. Everybody needs to be life coached. Life coach. In that life coaching, that's where you understand who you are. When you see an opportunity, you should be able to seize it for yourself. So the thing that will not make it not work will be ourselves, right? Being stupid, if you want to just use the word, not wanting to take a course going ahead. Number two, our leaders, our managers, our supervisors, anyone who's in the leadership position needs to make a decision to adopt the new way. And of course, the third one is we must see everything as an opportunity. When fourth industrial revolution comes, here comes an opportunity. Let's take a small, quick example. All of a sudden, there's this thing where they deliver food with motorbikes.
Yes, Uber Eats.
Yes. How many people got employed by just having that industry? Just look at that example.
And they did grab the opportunity and used it.
Right. Let's go now to Uber. How many people now are employed just on Uber? And not just employed, they've got a lot of time. If I'm a driver, I know, okay, this weekend I need to go to Venda. I just take off. I don't have to worry. But when I arrive in Venda and I've got 2 hours, what do? I just switch on my Uber and I start picking up people and then dropping them. Remember when I said fourth industrial revolution gives us time. There's that flexibility. So I decide to switch on or to switch off, to switch on or to switch off. But nobody's going to come and say, hey, Khensani, here's an opportunity. You must be able to pick up that opportunity. Yeah. And our managers, our leaders, our supervisors must adopt this technology. One of the reasons why I'm in the Middle East is I'm training and coaching the Saudi youth on IT. Why? Because executives or managers have adopted that IT is the future. They get the experts around the world, come and train our youth.
Yeah, so that they can be knowledgeable. Yes.
That's it. Yeah. So it is a good thing. Nothing will stop it except those 3, but I don't think they will win.
Yeah, and the other thing is I know that there are 3 parts of society. Like we have, the first one is the existing workplace, the workplace that we have that is existing, and the next generation. And we also have those who are currently being excluded, right? And somewhere, somehow, do you think that the next generation is ready for this change?
Actually, I don't think they are ready. They are in there. Take somebody who was born in the year 2000. Right? They've got their own mobile number.
Yes.
That already is fourth industrial revolution. It is personalized to them. Now they are creating opportunities. What we need is we need to coach them. We need to life coach them, right? How best to use this technology, because they're already there. When we grow up, when a phone rings, everybody ran to the phone to find out who's answering. Today, that is gone because this new generation is already in the fourth industrial revolution, but we are not conscientizing them. So that's why I say we need to life coach them, that they're already there. They're already born in the technology. So they are not what we call BBTs, born before technologies. But they are in technology. Because they are in technology, let us coach them how best they can be able to use it. If you check in America, how many multimillionaires were created just by this new technology from the youth side? So we need to do the same and start introducing all this form of technologies, but very important, coach these youngsters so that they know that this is business. Because chances that they're going to go and find work like we used to find work in the past, the dynamics are different. So like I said, they are not ready, they are in it. It's not a matter of they need to get ready, they are in it. The only thing we need to do now is let's just coach them and show them towards and expose them towards opportunities so they can use it going forward.
Yeah, because I remember last year I had a client, and the child was, I think, 8 years. Then, so normally we communicate via mommy because he's still young. Then this other day he sent me a message and said, "Coach, I'm ready for you," and the number, I didn't have the number because every time when I communicate with the mom, and I was waiting for mommy to say yes, he's ready. Then I get the message, and I said, "Who are you?" And it's like, "Coach, you don't know me." I said, "No, I don't have this number in my phone." And I'm asking him, and then, "How, when you're sending me this message, where is mommy?" I said, "No, mommy is not around, but I know that our session is starting now, and I saw your email, so I just wanted to tell you that I'm ready. We can." And I was so surprised. I was like, as little as 8 years. I remember when I first had my phone, I was 16 years old, and it was it was a big achievement for me.
But you see, that's what I'm saying is the youth, they are born in it, right? All we need to do is to conscientize them, right? To show them how powerful is this tool. So if we conscientize them, the amount of good things, remember opportunities that I talked about, the amount of opportunity that we'll be able to create, it's massive, because fourth industrial revolution, like I said, it gives us time. We got the time. Now the question is, how do we coach people with the time that they have, how best to use it? That is one thing from this discussion, I'll say, fourth industrial revolution gives us time. Now, what do I do with that particular time? In the past, without fourth industrial revolution, I would have to spend, take an example, just going to work. 1.5 hours going to work, 1.5 hours coming back. Then it's 3 hours. Now I work from home. I've saved that 3 hours. Now the question is, what do I do with that time? Therefore, we need to coach people on opportunities, how to explore opportunities that are available around your environment there.
Yeah. And what happens to those who are currently excluded, like being excluded, especially when we look into the rural areas? I know not every rural area have Wi-Fi. Some, they still struggle with network and all those things. So how will this industrial revolution help them, as they are currently struggling, and they've been struggling with other things other than the technology that is in now? So how are we going to help them in this sense?
We call that phenomenon DD, digital divide.
Okay.
Right? It's a phenomenon called digital divide. Now, who solved digital divide? The government and private sector. So the government needs to provide connectivity. I'm glad our Minister of Digital Technology and Communication, she's pushing and then driving that people will have free access, they will have connectivity. Because if you don't have connectivity, you're out. But government needs to play part. And of course, private companies also need to play part, because private companies will be able to afford, or to make people afford, the handset, the computers, or the mobile, if you want to call them. And then government must make sure that people have access. So digital divide can be transcended. There's a case study that I'm working on in Rwanda. I will be there, I think, in September, October. Government give people access to data, access to connectivity, because it is now like a life. Because if you go now, as an example, to Rwanda, most of the things that they do in medical and health, they do it through fourth industrial revolution.
But therefore, sorry to cut you off there, but is it accessible to everyone who needs it?
Yes, because government make sure that there is connectivity, and government make sure that private sector provide ease access to the handset, and then they will incentivize business for providing those particular handsets. So therefore, it's a win-win of all three, of the consumers, which is the community, who will get access and they will get the handset. Private sector, right, because they are getting an incentive for providing those handsets. And then government now is providing the service that they're supposed to be rendering.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, because the existing workforce now is like most of the people are still struggling. Like you said in the beginning, that people need to be coached and they need to know that they can adapt and they need to be ready for a change, because of change comes in different forms. It might come with a choice. We may have a choice of saying, you know what, I've found an opportunity to work online, therefore I will stick with my online. Or change can come as a crisis, like COVID. It was a crisis that brought a lot of change in so many people's life. So it was not by choice. So it was a crisis that we had to deal with. And the other thing is, change might come as a crisis. It's a crisis, it's a choice, or by chance. You know, like it was by chance that I was able to talk to you via the Zoom meeting. And it's all, but the industrial, the fourth industrial revolution, it's overwhelming. To be honest, it's overwhelming. It's like everything is happening at the same time. Like when you're trying to adapt on the situation and look into it and try to see what is happening, then the next thing comes. Yeah. While you still, you know, it needs you also, the pace of learning, the pace of adapting must be as fast as the 4IR is. And sometimes it's impossible. It's impossible. So when we look into how will the 4IR influence how we work, like
that concept, we call that concept the future of work. We call it FOW, the future of work. The future of work will never be the same. But what is interesting is changing for the better. Rule number one, we said time. Now employees have got more time. Now, because now we have more time, what do we do with that time? So we need now to be able to improve to determine what more we can get. I've got a simple model. I say we adopt. Right? So that's rule number one. We must adopt this technology.
Yes.
After we've adopted it, we must adapt to it. And after we've adapted, we adapt. What are the three things? It's adopt means I don't have a choice. I must now work from home, right? I must adopt this technology. I must adopt this Zoom. I mean, there's people that didn't even know that there was Zoom. So we all adopted the technology of Zoom. We all adopted the technology of Uber Eats, the technology of Uber. And then from there, now we must adapt to it. Now, that's a big change. Adopting is having it with you. Adapting is changing to making it work the way it should work, but in your line. Therefore, you now have more time. And then adapt, it's part of you. There are people that when they wake up, before they can even switch on the light, what is the first thing they do? They want the cell phone. Now that is adapt, which means it has now become part of our environment. So we now need to develop that adoption process. Now, what is it? We must adopt the technology. And we don't have a choice. We have already adopted Zoom as an example as our technology. But adopting is one thing. Adopting is to say, yes, it is now our communication tool.
Yes.
But then from there, we must adapt, meaning that we must change the way we used to do things. And that's where now time comes up. And every time we adapt to the technology, we have more time. Therefore, if I used to spend 3 hours going to work, when I now adapt to Zoom or Teams or any of those technologies, I now have 2 hours extra. Now, what do I do with that particular time? And then from there, I go into what I call adapt, meaning it becomes part of you. In golf, we call it muscle memory. So the minute you hold the golf club, you already know what to do. So same with the technology. We need to be able to adopt the new technology, adapt it, and then adapt. Then you'll see we'll be able to run. But that requires coaching. Right? Because you cannot adapt and adapt to something you don't understand, you don't know. So you need somebody to be able to guide you into getting to that level in there.
Yeah, okay. So I don't want to be deep into politics though. I'm tempted, but I'm busy holding myself. So my next question will be, how should South Africa prepare for this industrial revolution, the fourth industrial revolution?
I think South Africa has done, the President Ramaphosa has put together what we call a fourth industrial revolution committee, right, which was headed also, as I said, by Professor Marwala. And it went in the breadth of South Africa to find out what is required for South Africa. So there were, I think, about 30 or so commissioners, which are all very senior people in their own right. They have achieved quite a lot in the country, and they've come up with a document. So if you are interested in what they've come up with, we can have a discussion on that, because in there, they've given a recommendation to say this is where the government should take the policy to. And I'm very confident through the Department of Digital Technology and Communication with Bonchaveni and with our president, and of course with the support of the commissioners, including Professor Marwala, the people of South Africa will follow that up, and I've got that access to that documentation. We can look at that and see where is it going. So South Africa is in the right place. Where we need to make sure it's execution, because that's a policy document. So we need now to do the execution. And where does execution come from? That's where the life coaching comes up. That's where the training comes up. That's where the leadership, remember when I talk about the supervisors, the managers, they need to be able to adopt that part in there. So if we can do that, we will be able to catch up quite easily as a country.
Yeah, that's so true. And looking into everything that is happening, do you think that there's a gap when it comes to South Africa and the coaching programs? Do you think our leaders are getting enough coaching in everything that they do, or not leaders as government per se, but leaders also with the owners of the business? Are they upskilling themselves, empowering themselves to be able to handle all this change?
I would say it's about 50%, but it can be more, right? Because in the beginning, people will think, hey, this thing is a cost. It's going to cost my company. No, it's not a cost, it's an investment. Because when our people know how to use technology, remember we said this 4IR technology brings time. It gives me more time. I'll be able to do things quicker. Right? And then I have time for myself. So therefore, we need now that coaching program to go much bigger. And I would suggest that actually should start from almost like from the presidency. So from the high office. And then it goes now into the boards, all the chairmen of the boards and the chairpersons of the boards. It goes to the CEOs. It needs to trickle all the way down. Because now the power lines have changed. Remember, by bringing technology, the power lines have completely changed, meaning that you don't have to spend too much time doing things that you used to do in the past, because most of the things are easy. Do it on the computer, do it on the cloud, do it with your mobile, and it happens almost immediately. Now you've got a lot of time. What do you do with the time? We need to be able to coach how best to make use of that available time.
Yeah, but and another thing is, if I hear you correctly, you are saying that everybody, like in South Africa, in the government, in leadership, they need to be coached. They need a coach, including the owners of the companies, including pastors, all these leaders. They need coaching to upskill and empower themselves.
That's it.
Yeah.
Everybody needs that. If you look in the time of horses, in the early days before vehicles came up, we had horses.
Yes.
When we moved from horses to vehicles, people had to be trained, had to be coached, had to be guided. When we moved or when we added aeroplanes and so similar now, when we have fourth industrial revolution technology, people need to be coached, especially, like I always say, the leaders. Because when I'm a leader, I set the tone. Now, if I say no meeting in my company will take place physical, or people will only come to the office at that time and I make decision on technology, it will trickle down. So leadership is important. So we need decisive leadership to make that decision. But as soon as that decisive leadership comes, what happens? Opportunities gets created. We must not forget that. Once a leader makes a decision, opportunities gets created. But unfortunately, nobody's going to come and say, here is an opportunity. So leaders of companies, leaders of government, leaders of all institutions plays a major role. Now, how do they get into that? We need to have what we call executive coaching for them, which will be executive coaching on fourth industrial revolution, right? Which says, this is me as an executive. How do I adopt this thing? How do I adapt this new technology? Because I need to know how do I access my audience. So leadership very important in making decision going forward on the fourth industrial revolution.
Sure, it makes a lot of sense. And I was also, as you were speaking now, I was also thinking about the other adaptation that like our grannies and grandpa, like who are receiving grants. Like a lot has changed. Remember in the olden days, they used to receive money, and they sign for it. Now they receive it via a card. They need to go to the ATM, and
Yes.
So yeah, a lot has changed, because even these days, I remember there was a time 2017, 18, 2016, you will find, I think I lost my coach there. I'll have to wait for him to come back, and sorry about the cut off. So we are still waiting for our coach to come back, and I would love to engage with you guys online. Let's talk about this fourth industrial revolution. Let's hear how is it helping you, or is it affecting you badly? So if it's affecting you positively, share. If it's affecting you badly, share, so that we can know what to do. What could hold us back? The coach King said, most of the things that are holding us back into achieving our goals when it comes to this industrial revolution is we are lazy. We don't want to learn new things. We still want to operate like old people, but living in a new world. And indeed, it's a new world of technology. Each and everything. You order food from home. We order clothes from home. We order, these days you can do your nails from home, your hair, your makeup, everything is just a call away from you. So how is it affecting you as an individual? How is it affecting your family? And how is it affecting your business? Are you benefiting from it, or is it affecting you badly? So let us know, because I know that also the next generation that is born into it, they are doing very well for themselves. However, are they going to be able to maintain it? Are they going to maintain the life that they're living in? Is it useful for them, or do we need to change the education system? Because the education system now is drawing towards the online platform. So how is it going to help us to upgrade our children mentally, emotionally, and physically? And remember that the other thing is, when your children are learning from home, they don't have friends they don't have physical contact with other kids. They are home. They do everything at home 7 days a week. Maybe if you take them out over the weekends, or Sundays, if you guys are going to church, you know that your kids will be able to do that. So will they still be in sports, or they will continue learn and do sports online? We all don't know, but these changes are coming each and every day in our lives. So I will just check how far the coach is so that we may proceed. Yes, coach, welcome back. So let's go into yes. So I was we spoke about how should South Africa prepare for IR, and you said that South Africa is prepared. And how will the fourth industrial revolution empower people to upskill themselves?
There's something called MOOC, MOOC, right? MOOC is where the gurus of any subject, they write training and they make it available for free.
Oh, that's interesting.
Right? Yes. So, like you asked the first question, it will just depend. Did leadership provide us with connectivity? Did they provide us with those bases? If we have those things, anyone, anywhere. So if you want to learn anything, let's say you want to learn baking. So you go on Google, you write baking, MOOC. Right? It will go and find training courses for you about baking that are free. So therefore, we've got an abundance. But like you rightfully asked the question, will we be ready? What about DD, digital divide? If our leaders have not provided us with connectivity, they have not provided us, the corporate have not provided us with the handsets, then we'll have an issue. But for those that have, please go into Google, MOOC, and just type your subject that you want to learn. You will find a free training. You will only pay if you want a certificate. If you don't want a certificate, you do that course. They are 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 months, all forms of time. So in terms of will we be able to learn what we need, it is freely available. And the beauty is you can do it at the privacy of your home. Remember, we talk about fourth industrial revolution and time. It gives me time.
Are the certificates accredited?
Yes. Some of it, you just need to check which institution that one is. But normally I say, I want the knowledge. Let me drive the knowledge first. Once I have the knowledge, then it's easier for me to manage the certification and other things. But first, let's say now you want to learn about Zoom. You don't know how Zoom works. Right? Certificate is important, make no mistake, but you want to acquire the knowledge very quickly. So what I quickly do is I go MOOC, which is the MOOC, I put in Zoom, then I find an institution that has got free lessons on Zoom. I quickly go and I learn it. At least I have empowered myself, which means if I'm working with this thing at work, I can also augment my work skills, my work knowledge by training myself. And that's one of the powers that the fourth IR provides us. But again, like we said, people need to be coached. They need to be exposed to this type of things so we can take advantage and then be able to use it for ourselves.
Thank you so much, Coach, for sharing with us the MOOC. I also didn't know about it. As soon as we are done here, I'm going to Google.
Yes, I'm
going to Google, because the other thing that I'm also doing is I've done few free courses. Like I told myself that this year it's a learning year for me. So as soon as I finish a certain course, I register another one, because being knowledgeable is very important. You'll never know when you're going to need that knowledge. And we always say that knowledge is power. Knowledge, it's not always power, because if you don't know how to apply the knowledge that you have acquired, so we can't keep on saying, no, I have 10 certificates, I have 15, I have PhD, but are you able to apply the knowledge that you got while you were busy doing those certificates? So what is important is knowledge comes with power if you are able to apply the knowledge you have. So I'll be doing that. So I'm also busy with another course. It's a 6 months course. When I'm done with this one, I'll pick another one. So I believe that it's very important. And they have, and also the one that I'm doing it with Cometa, and they have as a business is what's the name of my course? Imagine I forgot about it, but it's development, management, something coaching. I'll get it right. I'm sorry about that. I'll share again next week, or I'll also post it on the comments so that you can know. So Cometa has this free courses that you can attend, and you can work on your own pace, on your own time, and do assignments. We have exam dates, and your tutor will help you through your courses if you have certain things that you don't understand. So I'll share the information on the comment sections if you are interested, especially if you are a coach. We have those courses that you can attend, and let's keep on learning each and every day just to empower ourselves and make sure that the knowledge that we have, we help others and you keep them with the knowledge. So Coach, thank you so much for tonight. I can see that we're running out of time, but before you leave us, I want to know what success means to you, or what success look like to you.
For me, success is still continuous because, like at my age now, I should be staying at home, relaxing. But when I see opportunities, to me, success is through opportunity. When I see an opportunity where it's something that I know or I don't know. If I know it, I want to impart the knowledge. If I don't know it, I want to know about it. So for me, success never ends, if you know what I mean. It keeps driving. As I see, like now, as soon as Fourth Industrial Revolution came, I stopped virtually most of the things that I was doing and tried to learn this environment. And you need to have a team that you learn with. But also very important, we are lucky in South Africa. We've got stalwarts and then experts like Professor Marwala. Right? He is one of the best or the core skill that we have in the country. So we need to work with him. We need to see what he's doing, what information he's finding. I mean, last week, I think for 3 weeks or so, he got appointed somewhere in America to sit with all this group of other people. Then the other one, he was in Europe. So what he's doing is he's trying to expose himself. Therefore, we need to also follow people like him. Our president is doing the same. When he gets advised on Fourth Industrial Revolution, he listens. He puts a team together, and then the Minister of Digital Technology, Bonchabeni, drives that one. He passes it through. So it means there is those avenues available. Let's use them, and success will never end. It will just keep on growing and growing as long as we see opportunities and then we make use of those opportunities. But we need our leaders. Don't forget, our leaders needs to make those decisions. If our leaders don't make decisions, we will not have access to those opportunities.
Absolutely, Coach. And where can our viewers and listeners find you?
I'm on LinkedIn. Right? We also call LinkedIn. On LinkedIn. So the easiest is, if you want to search for me, is to drop me an email. My email address is AA, which is a Vendan word for R. So AA, right? And then King Coach. So AA King Coach @gmail.com.
Wow.
So there you can access me anytime because this email, I use it primarily for the coaching business. So anything that got to do with business, you'll access me through AA King Coach. So I'll say King Coach. So AA King Coach @gmail.com.
Okay, Coach. Thank you so much. Coach, I'm humbled, and I thank you so much for your time. I know you are a very busy man, and you made time to come and speak to me. I'm really grateful, and I wish you all the best. I know it's hot that side while I'm feeling cold this side.
That's why I say I'll wire you some, through Fourth Industrial Revolution, I'll wire you some tips.
The beauty of nature. It shows how wonderful God is. Yes.
So maybe just one small thing, Khensani, is
yes.
We did not even touch anything on Fourth Industrial Revolution. The one thing that I need the viewers to start now concentrating on is cloud. The word cloud, the word data, and metaverse. These are the three things that are going to be changing our world. Cloud, because now all our information sits on the cloud, meaning that when I'm now in Saudi Arabia, when I'm in Dubai and I'm in Abu Dhabi, I still have access to my information. That's what cloud does. Whereas if I didn't have cloud, I would have to unlock it from my office. So cloud is the new future. Data, anything I'm doing is being created as data. Anything I'm doing, moving here, there. Right now, when I have cloud and I have data, I need one thing in the middle, artificial intelligence. So AI needs cloud, AI needs data for it to be able to tell you what is going to happen to you tomorrow. And that's where now the metaverse come up. So metaverse is where your information is going to be taken somewhere else, and you'll be able to influence and change it. And metaverse is best for the artist people, the musician and all that. So you go in the metaverse, you create a profile, which means it will be in the cloud, it will create data. But the beauty with the metaverse, that data, you can augment it. You can add other things on it. And you can make money on it. Now, that's what we'll talk about as we go forward. Data, cloud, those two are meaningless if I don't have artificial intelligence. Now, when I have all these three things, I can now go into what we call metaverse. When I go into the metaverse, it means I can now clone myself. I can create a third me that sits somewhere else. For artists or for creative people, people will be able to subscribe to you and buy things that you need and all that, and then you make money from that. But that's a subject, the next level subject that we can talk about, to say how best, because the one I was talking about is history. It's the fourth industrial revolution of today and the past. The future one is the metaverse.
No, Coach, we still need to have few sessions because this topic it's very important. It's very important. So we still need to have another session and another session until we understand and know and making sure that everybody else also understand, because remember, this show is to equip and transform communities. So it's important for us to make sure that our communities understand where we are with the environment we're living in at this time. And we also need to meet them where they are. Where they are, do they understand where the rest of the world is, or they still puzzled with everything that is happening? So we still need to have more sessions regarding the fourth industrial revolution. I can't wait for more of them, and I hope that I will squeeze myself into your schedule. I know you'll be going to Dubai very soon, but I will force myself in your schedule so that I can get those interviews.
Let's do that. I'm glad, Khensani, that we managed to do it, because it's what we're doing is very important, and it, like you say, it works and augmenting your goal of equipping, transforming the community. So what I will do in our next session, I will blend this. I'll put it nicely in a nice presentation to blend it with this, so that for those that want to follow, because some people, you find that it's easier for them if you give them a 5-page document, to follow through how. So I'll actually do that in a 5-page slide so that people can also follow that area for us as well.
I will really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Coach. Thank you so much. And good evening from me, and I'll see you again.
Coach Mauda.
No, before you leave, do you have anything to tell the viewers? Maybe one quote that just to empower them for this evening?
I've got quite a lot of quotes, but I'm going to go with one quote that I prefer, which please. I say, you don't know anything until you meet King Coach. I say you don't know anything until you meet King Coach, and that's what we'll be doing as we go as well with the metaverse. As I said, metaverse. Professor Marwala he's driving metaverse because that is if we think we know the future that we're seeing today, it's nothing. Metaverse is the future going forward. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Coach, and have a good afternoon on your side, and then good evening to those who just joined us. Guys, we are done with our session for this week. We will meet again next week, and make sure that you keep on bringing questions. If you have questions, something that you would like to know regarding what we spoke about, this week. And like Coach King said, that we're still going to have more sessions. So if you have something that you want to know and understand, it will be advisable for you to just write it down and keep it on the sections. And then when he comes, we will ask him those questions and he will answer them for us. So Coach, thank you so much. And I really appreciate your time, and I'm humble and grateful. And may God bless you and keep you safe on that side until you come back home. And to everyone, I love you guys, and take care of yourself. Remember, personal development is important. And attending shows like this, you are personally developing yourself. So as you learn each and every Tuesday, as you learn each and every day, empower yourself and make sure that you are where the world is. You are not puzzled. You don't know what to do, because let me tell you, the fourth industrial revolution, it's here to stay anyway. So let's make sure that we educate ourselves. And as Coach was equipping ourselves tonight, let's make sure that the knowledge we got from him, we are able to apply it. And thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you next week, Tuesday night. Bye, everyone.